Hi everybody. The video you're about to see is a breakdown of the IPO tracking phase. This video is from a trial that I competed in with my dog Ace. This is an IPO 2 track you're about to see. As you will see in a moment, tracking is not the most exciting thing to watch. For that reason, there is not a whole lot of film on tracking, but fortunately I do have this video for you guys to watch so that you can see what IPO tracking looks like. After watching the video, you should have a pretty clear idea of what you need to teach your dog to do in regards to tracking. Just like the other two phases, tracking is worth 100 points. What you're watching my dog Ace do right now is use his nose to follow the scent or track of a person. The track is laid approximately 30 minutes to 1 hour before you start with your dog. Because this is an IPO 2 track, this track was laid 30 minutes prior to when you see me walking out here. That means somebody has to come out and lay the track long before the handler brings their dog out to the track. The title of this person is called the track layer. In the IPO 1 track, you, as the handler, lay your own track. In the IPO 2 and IPO 3, a stranger lays your track, so somebody other than you lays your track. You are not allowed to lay your own track in the IPO 2 and 3. The dog should follow the track how you see my dog following it in the video. The dog's nose should be to the ground. The dog should be staying precisely on the trail of the track layer the entire time. If the dog ever comes off the track or loses the track, points will be deducted. The dog is attached to a leash when they're tracking. This leash must be 10 meters long or about 30 feet long. The handler needs to hold the very end of the leash. The handler is also not allowed to influence the dog's behavior at all using the leash. The leash must remain loose the entire time, and the handler must simply just follow behind the dog while they're tracking. The dog must work independently of the handler. The handler is also not allowed to give any extra commands during tracking. If he or she does, they'll lose points. The dog should move down the track at a reasonably slow and consistent pace. The dog should not speed up and then slow down throughout the course of the track. If he does, then he will lose points as well. At the IPO 2 level, the length of the track is 400 steps. In the IPO 1 level, the length of the track is 300 steps. And at the IPO 3 level, the length of the track is 600 steps. So that means that the track layer walked a total of 400 steps when they laid this track you're watching. The IPO 2 track consists of 2 turns. The IPO 1 track also consists of 2 turns, and the IPO 3 track consists of 4 turns. This means the track layer will make 2 90-degree turns somewhere on the track in the IPO 2 track. In a second here, you'll notice my dog suddenly lie down. The reason he does this is because he found an article. In the IPO 2 track, there are 2 articles hidden somewhere on the track. Here are a few examples of what articles look like. They can be made of either wood, leather, or carpet. The size of the article is about 4 inches long and 1 inch wide. The article is placed in a random footstep somewhere on the track, and when the dog finds it, he should indicate it by lying down in front of it, just like you saw my dog Ace do. The dog should be very close to the article when he indicates it. Again, in the IPO 2 track, there are only 2 articles. In the IPO 1 track, there are also 2 articles, but in the IPO 3 track, there are a total of 3 articles. After the dog finds the article, the handler comes to the dog, picks up the article, shows it to the judge, and then gives a command to tell his dog to continue tracking. Because this is an IPO 2 track you're seeing, there is only 1 more article left on the track. The last article is always placed at the very end of the track. Because the IPO 2 track is 400 steps, the last article will be placed in step 400. As I said, the dog should be following the track with absolute precision. If the dog is off the track at all, you will lose points. In order to obtain maximum points in tracking, the dog should not leave the track at any time. In addition, the dog should stay completely focused on sniffing the ground. Points will be deducted if the dog ever lifts his head, becomes distracted, loses interest, or does not indicate an article. As you can see, my dog Ace is very slow, methodical, and concentrated while he's tracking. This is how most judges will want to see your dog track.